Hi, welcome to our AnimeCons TV feedback episode for August 2015. I'm Patrick. Each month we take one episode every few weeks and we respond to your questions and comments on our podcast. And so let's start off with YouTube. In response to my Say in Japan report, Gasper Heller writes, "This con sounds awesome. I agree on the dealer's room thing. Otakon has the same kind of thing, except when you go out, you have to go up and all the way around to the right of registration and back down. The Artist Alley is on the opposite of the BCC. I think this was put into effect from around 2011 or so annoying." And yeah, this is in response to what I had mentioned about Say in Japan's dealer's room, and it happens in a lot of dealer's rooms where they've got two entrances or two doors, and they use one as an entrance and one as an exit. In theory, that way everybody's flowing in through one door and out through the other. In practice, it means you have to walk all the way to the other side. We got a few more comments about this on YouTube, so let me go through those first. Dude, what's up? Responded, "I live in San Antonio and I've gone to Say in Japan every year and it gets bigger and better every year. It is really a great con. The dealer room entrance and exit was meant to flow traffic away from the main entrance to the convention center, because they had the large game room on the opposite side of the dealer room, so that way all traffic will have an exit away from the main entrance." And Casey Enlow also writes, "I attended Say in Japan this year and it was my first time visiting and I'll definitely return again and again. Glad you were there." And the final comment mentioned about our Say in Japan report was from Michael Hicks, who wrote, "As a member of the Say in Japan core staff, I too often chuckle at the size of my badge. It was almost always a guarantee whenever I walked outside I would get the only breeze San Antonio would have, and my monstrosity of a badge would get caught in it and smack me right in the face. But that's the cost of being staff, I'm afraid. Regardless, I'm glad you had a good time at the event. Reviews like these give me the satisfaction of staying on staff." Well, thanks, Michael. I'm glad you enjoyed our report. And yeah, as some cons can tell you, I don't hold any punches in my con reports. If something's wrong, I'll talk about it. Fortunately for Say in Japan, the only thing I really had to comment on that I thought could be improved was that entrance and exit to the dealer's room. And for those of you who didn't see the episode, the issue is that you walk into the Artist Alley through one set of doors, and there's an entrance on one side and exit on the other. And then you go to the left to get to the dealer's room, and there's an entrance there. But you don't know that the exit is on the far end unless you happen to walk by it and notice people walking out, or you try to go out the entrance and they tell you have to go all the way down to the other end. I think part of this can be resolved with signage, because people walk in, you walk into any place, your natural instinct is when you're looking for the exit, it's probably where you came in. And this is actually why they have exit signs in buildings now, because there was a large fire in Boston back in, I don't remember, it was a long time ago at the Coconut Grove. And people crowded the entrance because that's what they knew. They didn't know there were exits at other places. So that's why you're now required to have exit signs. And so I think when cons plan out their dealer's room, they should keep in mind that people will look for the exit where they came in. And so the entrance and exit to the Artist Alley worked out pretty good, because you go in one side, you come out the other. And it's not like there was a huge mass of people trying to get in and out of the Say in Japan dealer's room. You could easily just say, okay, this side is entrance, this side's exit, works out fine, rather than have to send them all to the other end. And you could at the other end have that also be an entrance and exit. And it really helps traffic flow, and that way people don't get annoyed when they end up back in one side and realize, oh, I've got to go to the other end. I noticed this the following weekend at Otakuthon. I wanted to mention it in my report, but I forgot, but Otakuthon had the same thing. You walk in one side, it's the dealer's room, and you had to walk out the exit. And I think if you open multiple doors on either end, it helps with the traffic flow, and people don't have to always flow in one end and always flow out the other. And it's something that I've noticed at a lot of conventions, and I'd really like to see improved, where the exit and entrance are shared. and have multiple. I had mentioned, say in Japan, you had to go out through the artist alley rather than, just out into the hallway. And, that might help too. But anyway, Say in Japan's moving to the other side of the convention center next year because they didn't even use half of this convention center. It's huge. And so hopefully next year the arrangement will work out and it's not going to be an issue. But anyway, that's my thoughts on dealer's room traffic flow. Moving on from Say in Japan, Migurin Luca had a question about our post-con depression episode from last September. And the question is, I had been to so many cons before Anime Blues Con a few weeks ago, and I never got PCD, post-con depression. But Anime Blues Con was my first really big con, and I loved it. But when I got home, I had all of these symptoms that you listed for like a week. I'm going to another con this coming weekend, and I'm worried I'm going to get PCD again. Is there a way to prevent it? No, there's really not. I mean, if you have a good time at a con, you're going to wish you were still at the con. It's just a natural thing to happen. And it's good that you're going to another con because that gives you something to look forward to help you get over that. But then again, you kind of get excited in anticipation, like, oh, the con's coming up. Like, I'm starting to feel that way about Dragon Con. Oh, it's coming up. It's going to be fun. And then after, it'll be like, oh, I wish I could hang out with all these people again. That was a good time. And, just keep in touch, look through photos, and hopefully some of the things I mentioned in that episode will help you recover from the post-con depression a lot easier. But a way to completely avoid it, have a terrible time at the convention maybe. But yeah, you don't want that. So good luck. And let's see. Next we have an email from our friend James the Dark Kiba. He writes, Dear AnimeCons TV, hello, first off, I finished watching Patrick's con report on Otakuthon and I loved it. I would like to thank you guys for doing a whole month of con reports. I love when you guys do con reports, and I would like to thank Doug and Charles Dunbar for Otakon because I was debating whether to attend next year due to the crowds, but now I'm definitely going. It's sad that Otakon's switching gears from Baltimore Inner Harbor since I used to live in Maryland and loved going to the National Aquarium. Regardless, it's still good that the new location will have better facilities. And a special thanks go to Charles for his video on the lines at Otakon, as it was insightful. Yeah, Doug is a huge fan of Otakon. He loves to go every year. He's been going every year since like forever. And it was strange that Otakon had such a severe drop in attendance. And I don't think Doug and Charles had mentioned it in their con report, but from what I'm hearing from people who know, their attendance was down 6,000 people this year. So when I do the list of the 10 largest conventions in the US and Canada at the end of the year, there's going to be a big change. So watch for that because Otakon isn't number 2 anymore. And we'll see where it falls at the end of the year. But yeah, it's... they're still not clear on why that happened, but yeah, we'll see how it looks at the end of the year, and maybe we can figure out why. Anyway, James writes, also thanks to Patrick for his 2 awesome con reports on Otakuthon and Say in Japan, both of which I want to attend ASAP. Before I close, I would additionally like to thank Doug for stating that Otakon is a real and true anime convention. I love anime and manga, and it's nice to know that there's a place for all otaku to have an actual anime experience. Well, I think that's true for a lot of conventions. There's a lot of conventions that will hold true, like, this is anime. It's not going to be your pop culture convention. We focus on Japan, Japanese animation, Japanese culture. There's a lot of conventions that will stick to that. I mean, there's a lot that will just take on anything that's popular. If you want to see Legend of Korra, My Little Pony, Doctor Who, there's conventions that'll just, any pop culture, come on in, you're welcome. And those are fine too, but yeah, there's still not just Otakon that will be focused on Japan and Japanese animation. So yeah, look for those if that's what you want. Also, thank you all, and I hope to see you at Dragon Con in a few weeks. P.S. I was wondering if any of you guys know what the very first anime convention was and where it took place. And if I may add, what is the Chibi Project that I see on your website? Okay, well, the first convention was, I don't know if you could consider it a convention, but there was Comic Market in Japan, and that started in 1975. And you may know it as Comic-Con. And that's huge, and that's still going on. But it's not really a convention like we're used to in the US, where you've got cosplay in the halls and a dealer's room, an artist alley, and video rooms and panels. Comic-Con is essentially a giant market where people sell their comics, their doujinshi, and it's huge. There's some cosplay outside where people take lots of photos, but it's kind of a different beast. The first anime convention in the US that's similar to the old sci-fi conventions and the conventions we know nowadays, that was actually AnimeCon, which took place in Dallas on August 13th, 1983. They had it again on March 8th, 1986, but that was it. That was the end of AnimeCon. And then there were a couple other attempts at conventions, one of it which eventually spun into Anime Expo. But the longest running convention currently is ACON, which started in 1990. As for the Chibi Project, well, that's not a convention. It's a website and podcast that I started in, I think, 1999. Started as a website, changed to a podcast in 2007, and we destroy anime toys and other toys and stuff for no good reason. We just do it. And there was a period there in 2008, I think it was, where we were doing an episode every 2 weeks, and we got on a good roll. Really popular, and then we just kind of went on a break and never really came back. We've done some panels at conventions. I just did one at San Japan, and we'll do things in front of a live audience, and that's a lot of fun. And but it's kind of slowed down. But when I moved to California, we did an experiment. We strapped a plush bunny to the front of the car and drove it 3,000 miles. So yeah, check it out, chibiproject.com if you want to see more. Let's see. On Twitter, Parv tweeted at us, "I wonder if a Toronto trip would be in plans in the near future of the AnimeCons crew." I don't know. I couldn't get any of them to come up to Montreal to see me, and it was just a 6-hour drive for them. And I don't have any plans to go to any Toronto conventions anytime soon. But yeah, and somebody was also asking if you're going to be in Dallas for Dallas conventions, and I also don't have any plans to go to Dallas, but who knows. And now let's take a look at the anime conventions that are coming up through October 2015 as found on AnimeCons.com. Last month, Elizabeth asked you guys to fill out a poll to see how you felt about our masquerade footage that we post. The videos we post, I usually edit out the halftime show, and I would leave the actual show and the awards intact. And so our question to you was, do you like that, or did you want it in some other format? And there were really 4 options that that we could think of. The first option is raw and unedited. You get everything. They start the event, they end the event. Halftime shows, long pauses, everything, as if you were sitting in the audience. Do you want that? Or do you want us to keep doing what we were currently doing, where it's the event, and then we turn off the camera while the judges make their decisions, and then turn it back on, you get the awards? Or do you want us to edit out any long pauses? So the event goes, but there's some technical glitch, somebody has to restart, or they're not ready. You've seen these where there's just this, okay, come on, where's the next act? Do you want us to edit those out? But we'd also edit out halftime and we'd leave the awards. Or do you want us to do even heavier editing, where sometimes there'll be some host banter with the audience kind of killing time, or maybe the host is doing some sort of little skit between the acts. Do you want those in there, or do you just want to see the entries and the awards? Or do you want us to go crazy with the hatchet and just give you the Masquerade entries and cut out all the pauses, all the banter, the halftime, and the awards? I mean, what did you want? And so the poll results are in, and 25% would like to actually see us do the entire thing raw and unedited, including the halftime show. 12.5% want us to continue yanking the halftime, so keep doing what we're doing. Another 12.5% want us to edit out the long delays, and that's understandable. But 50% came back and said they want us to remove the host banter and just have the entries and the awards. So this would be, we take out the long pauses, we take out any of the host killing time, and you get to see all the entries and you get to see all the awards. And there was nobody that wanted us to remove the awards, so we're not going to do that. If you have strong opinions on this, please write to us at podcast@AnimeCons TV or call our voicemail line at 762-ADEQUATE. That's 762-233-7828. Let us know if you think these poll results are wrong. Try to convince us otherwise, because right now it's looking like we're going to do some heavy editing and all the masquerades going forward, and any excessive host banter with the audience, any killing time, any tech delays, any false starts, we may start cutting those, and we'll continue cutting the halftime. But if you've got a strong argument, let us know. And coming up on AnimeCons TV, Svetlana is going to return to tell us how her Artist Alley experience went at San Japan. She did an episode last month with her plans. I guess that was a month and a half ago. But yeah, she's going to tell us how it went and if those plans worked out and if those plans actually happened. And then we're going to take the following Monday off because it's Labor Day in the US. That's Monday, September 7th. So there's not going to be an episode there. We do this every year because we're all at DragonCon. And but if you see us at DragonCon, please say hello. We'll all be there. And but we'll be back the Monday after that. So I guess that's September 14th with another new episode. And so as I mentioned, leave us a voicemail at 762-ADEQUATE. That's 762-233-7828. Adequate, because adequate.com, it's up in the corner there. It's it thing. But if you're stuck in line at a convention, if you have an opinion on our poll, if you saw something awesome at a convention, just call us while you're at the convention and leave us a voicemail and we'll use it on the show. We didn't have any this month. Come on, people. But yeah, we want to hear from you. Or you can, if you don't want to have your voice on the show, you can always just email us at podcast@AnimeCons.tv and we'll read it on the show. And let's see, subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe on iTunes. You can go to itunes.animecons.tv or on YouTube at youtube.com/c/AnimeConsTV, or you can watch on our site at animecons.tv. And you can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and Tumblr. And so thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. It's arty stuff, but putting...
I'm going to ask you to look at how the stairs will be actually.
Okay. I mean, really, don't let the border scare you. Just go get a passport, which you should have anyway. And then...